everybody.
Hi, guys. Well, from still smoky Salt Lake City, Utah,
It's Thank God I'm Atheist.
the podcast.
I'm Frank Feldman.
And I'm Dan Beecher.
And coming up on the show today, Dan, oh my God, it's Mormon Schism Part 2. Unplanned.
Yeah, well, we didn't...
The Mormon Church is like, they were alienated one group, and now they've gone and alienated another group.
Let me tell you something.
We're going to talk about it.
Shots fired. Literal musket shots have been
Referenced and fired.
And lots of people are very upset right now.
It's unbelievable.
It's the world of Mormonism is exploding.
Yeah, the schiz continues.
Just don't. Here's the look. If you're starting a religion out there, just one of the lessons is everyone at the top can't be octogenarians.
Yeah,
you just can't.
Yeah, it doesn't work. It doesn't work. Also, we've been discussing how to spell schiz.
Yeah.
We don't know.
We like the term schiz as a cute little truncation of schism.
Yeah.
But SCHIZ.
I think we should just go straight for it. SKIZ.
Schiz.
Schiz.
I don't know.
Hashtag schiz.
Yeah. It's hard. Let us know. Hashtag us. Matter of fact, tweet at us with your preferred hashtag about what truncation of schism you like.
Yeah. Well, the act of schisming.
Schism, Mormonism.
Schiz. Oh, it's good times. All right, Dan.
Yeah.
I debated whether to tell this story. This comes to us from Zambia.
Okay.
Where a pastor by the name of James Sakala decided that he was going to do one of these giant public gestures to it's faith promoting. It's it shows him off and his great powers, right? But somehow he got painted into a corner on one of these that wasn't necessarily a good idea.
Look, anytime you hear about anyone in Africa, any pastor in Africa who decides to do a stunt,
yeah,
horrible things are about to happen.
Well, this one, he promised resurrection.
Yeah, of course he did.
Of himself.
What? Now,
after 3 days.
I'm going to predict one problem with this, which is that in order to be resurrected, you kind of got to die.
Yeah. And so he had his congregants bury him alive.
Oh, God.
With the understanding that he would be back.
Okay.
And well, when he didn't just appear to them, they decided that maybe they should dig up the grave that they had buried him in.
Oh, God.
And I saw this story from a few different sources, and I chose the source that I have in my hands right now.
Yeah. Because
it was a local source.
Oh, God.
And they're reporting this one sentence. Actually, it's two sentences. Just encapsulated the whole situation so well. After 3 days, his church members went digging his grave just to find him dead. The pastor was dry like old sugarcane. And what a wwonderful image and imagery that would never come to my mind.
No.
Dry like old sugarcane.
Oh,
and
yeah. You don't want a dry pastor is what, because that's you buried him wrong.
Yeah,
is what you did.
Well, they left out the tube. They left out the breathing tube.
Yeah, it does seem like what likely happened was a malfunction of whatever trick was supposed to save him.
Yeah,
there was very clearly supposed to be a trick.
Yeah,
and instead he died a horrible, terrifying, painful death.
Yeah. As more and more dirt just piled up on top of him.
And as he clawed for his life.
Yeah, he probably tried to get he probably had his hands over his mouth.
Was he not in a box?
I don't know. I didn't see that part of it. Yeah.
Okay, nothing is okay about that. Anyway, don't be a pastor in Zambia. It is in almost anywhere in Africa. It's bad for your health.
Just don't do a stunt.
Just don't do a stunt.
You can go be a pastor in Zambia. Just
not
don't
that
do a
kind of stunt. You can pull all kinds of stunts. You can you can do miracle healings. You can do put people's wallet in your shoe and then it'll somehow like get better or whatever. They'll get money.
Yeah.
But you can't tempt fate. Don't go running towards lions.
Yeah.
Don't go, none of those things.
Don't make promises you can't keep. And this, what happened? Somehow he went down some road during a sermon, right?
Right.
He's preaching and he somehow got down the road of like resurrection, that he could be resurrected. And then it just started to like spiral out of control. He just couldn't figure out how to get out of it.
No.
Except for climbing into the grave and letting himself be buried.
I gotta figure that some of these dudes must believe their own hype.
You think they're like lunatics?
A few of them genuinely they've said it so much to all of these people that they just buy into it. I think a lot of people are like this, especially like megalomaniacal. I can't say a word, but megalomaniacs, they are prone to believing their own bullshit after a minute. And you look at Donald Trump.
Yeah.
When he is lying through his teeth, I think the fact that he's saying it makes him believe that it's true.
Because why? Yeah, of course.
Because he's saying
everything good. And,
I just think a lot of these guys genuinely believe their own shit. Now, most people, when they spout bullshit about how I can walk on water, they know they can't. Like, do not attempt a demonstration of this. You are going to fail.
Well, I'd love to see that stunt. That's a much safer stunt. Unless it's like crocodile-filled water or something. But
anyway, I'm going to take us to down under to Sydney, Australia.
Okay.
Where apparently they actually care about making sure that some, at least, COVID restrictions are followed, even by churches.
What?
There was they are in a lockdown down there, the Delta variant.
They are more often in a lockdown in Australia, it seems, than not in a lockdown.
It's lockdown days. Under is what it is.
Oh, yeah.
That's a copyrighted trademark of the Thank God I'm Atheist podcast. Lockdown under. Anyway, so despite the lockdown, Christ Embassy Sydney Church decided to have a meeting.
That's a dumb name.
Yeah, it is a dumb name. They had a whole big thing. The music was there. There was singing. There was dancing. I saw a video of it. There was hooting and a hollering.
Oh, great! Having a good time.
Yeah, at least 60 adults and children were inside.
Well, good for them. Indoors.
Yeah,
away from crowds.
They were a crowd.
They were like, what do you call it? They were locked down together.
They
had a pod.
They were their own bubble?
Yeah.
Well, that's not how the police saw it. And they issued at least $30,000 fines to the
$31,000 fines?
Yeah.
Okay.
At least 30 people received a $1,000 fine.
Cool. Yeah, okay.
And the church was fined $5,000.
Okay.
So, that's probably like $82 in real money, but because that's Australian dollars, but
they're doing fine.
No, it's like $750, I think.
Yeah.
Dollars. So like that is nothing to be sniffed at fine. That's not a slap on the wrist.
Right.
That'll get you where it hurts.
Yeah, I mean,
so I'm glad. I'm very happy.
It's also not like overly punitive either. Like nobody wants to dish that out, but
yeah, it probably won't wreck people forever, but it's sharp enough that like other people will definitely consider not going to. They will not opt into that again.
Yeah. I mean, if they're, I mean, they may not. I mean, it is hard times with like COVID and lockdowns and blah, blah, blah. I don't know exactly how Australia's doing it. But I mean, it could really hurt some people. Right.
What
like if you if you didn't have any like emergency fund or savings or a little extra cash around, that's going to hurt.
That the fine you're saying.
The fine.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
The church will be fine. 5,000. They should bump that up a little bit. But
yeah, probably.
Yeah, make them sell some pews off.
I feel like, if a church does it, it should be way more than that. Like, you need to hit churches hard for that sort of thing. But look, the fact that they hit a church at all proves that they're better than our stupid country.
Yeah, no kidding. Huh. All right. Oh, Dan.
Yeah.
I am having a hard time following too closely everything that's going on in Afghanistan. I'm following it enough to feel like I'm decently informed. I know what's going on, but I can't just like turn on the news night after night after night because it's rough. It's rough right now.
It is,
and it's hard to look at, hard to watch. But sometimes you just have to like face reality and whatnot. Well, here's a story from Afghanistan. One of the things the Taliban did when they first came swooping in was they promised that this time it would be different, right? Especially with regard to women. It wasn't going to be quite the same horror show for women this time.
Yeah.
A little bit of a horror show, but not the, burqas and women can't work and women just have to stay at home and women have to be accompanied everywhere by a man, so forth and so on.
And if there's one thing we know about the Taliban, they're true to their word.
Oh,
you're not going to catch them fibbing.
Well, and they're really trying to like they're playing a game this time where they're like because last time they just decided we don't care. We're just going to go it alone. The international community be damned.
Right.
And this time they're doing things like having a spokesperson. Right. There's an official Taliban spokesperson, which blows my mind. They're so organized. The guy's name is Zabiullah Mujahid.
Nailed it.
Mujahid.
Yep.
Sorry, everybody. I should have practiced that. But he said at a news conference, Taliban had a news conference. Right. This is just what is going on. I guess I'm actually ahead of myself. The Taliban has officially told working women to now stay home.
Okay, great. Perfect.
But they're saying that the reason that the women need to stay home is because it's not safe for them in the presence of their soldiers.
We can't control these guys. We don't know what they're going to do.
Because they are, quote, not trained to respect them.
Well, whose fault is that? Ding dong.
Exactly. You want to be different this time? Get some trainings going. You want to be like the nice organization with a spokesperson? You gotta like have group training sessions about respecting women.
Can I just call everyone's mind to the possibility of a Taliban corporate video that you have to sit down for that's just like, we don't like sexism in the workplace.
All right.
What do you do when you're raiding a village and you come across a woman? Well, Muhammad does the wrong thing.
Yeah. Well, so their spokesperson, Mujahid, I won't say his first name, said that the guidance to stay home is temporary, right?
Right, just saying. Until the soldiers all know not to rape everybody.
And he said, and they need time to find ways to ensure that women are not, quote, treated in a disrespectful way or, quote, God forbid, hurt. He admitted the measure was necessary because the Taliban soldiers, quote, keep changing and are not trained. We are happy for them, meaning the women of Afghanistan, to enter the buildings, but we want to make sure they do not face any worries. Therefore, we have asked them to take time off from work until the situation gets back to a normal order and women-related procedures are in place. Then they can return to their jobs once it's announced.
Look, we've unleashed an unholy demon upon the land, and frankly, it's not housebroken yet.
Yeah.
So probably better just to stay inside. We'll get it all handled. This is a temporary measure, probably take 40, 50 years tops. Then you can come back out to the workplace. You'll be fine.
Oh, I just read this and I was like, the idea that it is somehow the women's problem, right? And I mean, we talk about this in this, we'll talk about similar sort of things that it's, like it's the woman's problem, or like it's this, this group's problem,
right?
The majority or men or whoever just need to, like, they're the ones, right, who need to get good on this issue. This is a little more extreme of an example,
yeah.
But good God, this is not the women of Afghanistan's problem, right?
But like,
it's the rapey, horrible soldiers,
yeah,
who hate women, and not for nothing. Like, I love this whole thing that it's like they have to, that these guys are not trained well enough, because clearly Islam and extreme Islam didn't do a good job in and of itself to teach these men to just not rape women willy-nilly.
The problem is they've been trained in the opposite direction. Like, the Taliban has trained their people for forever in rape culture. You're supposed to have rape culture, according to the Taliban. You can't do that. You can't, like, that can't be your ethos. And then you turn around and you're like, everybody be cool now. We're not doing that anymore.
Right.
It's not going to work.
No, but I love to, I guess my point is I love to hear Muslims talk about the Islam is so peaceful.
Right.
Great. Yeah.
Right.
Show me more examples of that, please. But the other part is they always talk about women and how respected they are.
Right.
And it's like, clearly that is not a central message of Islam.
No, absolutely not.
You are shoehorning that in. Right. And I don't even actually buy it from you,
right,
as you're saying it, as you're forcing women to, at a bare minimum, wear a hijab.
Maybe at your progressive mosque in Portland, it's different.
Right.
But that's not the heart of Islam.
No.
So okay. Well, speaking of progressive, I'm going to take us to Cambridge, Massachusetts. And anyone who's heard someone say, "Oh, I went to school at Cambridge," knows how snooty the word Cambridge can be said. Anyway, you were in Boston. Shut up. Anyway, the Harvard University was founded as a religious institution. It was founded, named after a pastor, John Harvard, and basically founded as a way of making sure that their pastors, back in the 1630s when it was founded, had an institution to keep them literate. You have to be able to read the Bible. They want literate pastors. Right. We should get back to that. I feel like Greg Locke should look into that. But that
learn to read, dude.
Yeah, a little bit of literacy would go a long way. Of course, Harvard University is no longer just a clergy training center.
Oh, really? That's really what they're best known for.
There's that, and then there's Ted Cruz getting a law degree. So. Great. Thanks, Harvard. That's your fault. That's on you, Harvard. Anyway, so here's the thing. Chaplainry is a big deal on Harvard's campus. They have chaplains from Christian sects and Jewish, Hindu, Buddhist. They even have...
you name it, really.
They have Baha'i.
That's
as far as I know. I believe I read that. Anyway, lots of different chaplains, but they just got a new head, a president of the chaplain organization, whatever it's called. And that is one Greg Epstein, who we have talked about before.
Yeah.
He's the author of Good Without God, which is a book. He's an atheist.
Yeah.
And he is now the head chaplain at one of the top schools in the world.
Oh my God.
I think that's fascinating.
Hell-bent on destroying the chaplaincy.
Just
from the inside.
Just rotting it from its core.
As I'm sure some people.
Oh yeah. I was reading all about this in the New York Times, and I did meander into the comment section, which I do it so you don't have to. I don't recommend you guys wandering in there, but boy,
I didn't even know the New York Times and I go on the New York Times all the time. Where is it?
You just gotta know where to look.
Is it like at the end of the article? I rarely finish articles.
Yeah, you can find it at the end, or you can find it. There's a little thing at the top on the right hand corner.
I do the thing where you read like the first 5 paragraphs and go, "Yeah, I got it.
Yeah,
got it.
That's all you need."
I got the story.
I actually,
moving on.
you got to skip the first 3 paragraphs, which are all just sort of background fluff.
Right.
I don't need any of that.
Read 2, and you're done.
Skip 3, read 2. You got it.
Yeah.
What more do you need? Then they're going to go back to fluff again.
Yeah, no, it's true.
Then they're going to start interviewing people about the impact or something.
I don't need to know that.
Shut up. I don't. Why would I care?
So apparently there's comments at the bottom. I had
about
no
the lived
idea.
experience. Anyway, yeah. So, but yes, there are some people who are very upset about it, and other people who are very happy about it. A lot of people saying things like, well, then he's not a chaplain by definition. Which, okay. If you want to define chaplain that way, guess what? Definitions are just they're not rules. They're just ways that they just describe how a word's being used. So just change your definition then, and then he is a chaplain.
Yeah.
But he's out there doing good work, and I think we need more atheist chaplaincy. I think just in the universe, we need more atheists helping sort of shepherding people through some of the deep questions of life.
Yeah.
I'm a huge supporter of this idea.
I
I want there to be more of this. I want there to be more organizations guiding people, helping people that want some help. I love it. I love the whole thing.
Well, there you go.
Yeah.
Well, Dan.
Yeah.
There was a headline that was like bouncing all around this week. I kept seeing it different places, saying that most Americans now accept evolution.
Yes, I saw that.
Yeah. And I kind of was like, I didn't feel like I needed to read the article because there it was.
Right. Well, yes, like, most Americans, which, by the way, that means we've hit over 50%. That is devastating to me.
Yeah, when you actually like think about it.
That is,
yes.
I am heartbroken about that figure.
But
it needs to be so much higher.
It means evolution is on the climb in this country
as a concept.
As a concept,
sure.
And so I stumbled upon this article while prepping for the show, and it's on the Christian Post.
Oh dear.
I just love reading these kind of articles from their perspective,
from beyond the wall.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And while this wasn't, they did a reasonably good job actually reporting this.
Sure.
It wasn't too slanted, and I don't actually want to read it for the slant. But they pulled some nice things to be concerned about, I suppose.
Yeah.
And some of the things that they were talking about that makes sense as to like why this is the case, like why is this happening now, right? Apparently, between the years 1988 and 2018, so that's what, a 30-year time period, almost twice as many Americans hold college degrees over the 1988 number. And as one of the people they talked to for this article points out, it's hard to earn a college degree without acquiring at least a little respect for the success of science.
Yeah.
Right. Which I think is a great way of saying it. And let's see, but religious fundamentalism, which I always see as a pejorative term, apparently they like this term, was identified in the study as the strongest factor leading Americans to reject evolution.
Yeah.
Even though the population of Americans who identify as fundamentalists declined in the last decade, it says some 30% of Americans remain committed to their beliefs. Isn't that great? And then according to the study, even those who scored highest on the scale of religious fundamentalism shifted toward acceptance of evolution. So in 1988, only 8% of fundamentalists accepted evolution. It's up to 32%.
Okay.
As of 2019, which is really interesting. Like that actually really surprises me.
Yeah.
And so it's not just that, you know, the acceptance is expanding amongst college educated, you know, Americans.
Yeah.
It's actually also expanding in areas that you would least expect it, which I'm still wrapping my head around that.
I'm very happy. They're only, 80 years late to the party. 100 years late to the party.
More than that. And then let's see. And then as far as like how the political breakdown goes, 34% of conservative Republicans accept evolution, while 83% of Democrats accept evolution.
Where are the rest of the Democrats?
That's 17%.
Yeah.
My guess is they're some sort of church going types.
Yeah, probably.
Right. But anyway, I think it's great. We're making progress, but there's obviously a lot of work left to do.
Well, I think that dovetails really interestingly with my last story. I'm going to ask you a question, Frank.
Okay.
And we'll see how you personally line up with our country.
Okay.
Pew asked this of respondents. Is it your best guess that intelligent life exists on other planets? Would you say it's your best guess that it does or does not?
I say it does.
Interesting. Why? Just so that the people know.
I just, you think of the number of star systems that we can observe. You sort of look at like, especially like with being able to actually detect planets now, but even before then, just the probability of it. If if 1 in 1,000
billions of stars,
it's
and then
totally the Carl Sagan line of reasoning,
planets galore.
Yeah, where it's just small, tiny, infinitesimal fractions of small, tiny fractions of small, tiny fractions. It's still a huge number of possibilities for human life.
So the chances that this is the only rock in which it developed seem impossibly small.
It seems impossibly small, whether they have opposable thumbs, and make things, but
or physical form or whatever. Who knows?
Yeah, exactly.
Who knows what is out there? You are in agreement with that position with 85% of atheists and agnostics in our country.
Really? Okay.
By far the highest number of the groups.
Yeah. Okay.
Most atheists, agnostics, and nuns definitely do think that definitely say that their best guess, because that's the wording, is that that intelligent life does exist on other somewhere else in the universe.
Right.
I'm not convinced it's on ours, but somewhere. It's an old joke. Anyway, yeah. So of other believers, of other groups, it drops down. Now, in interesting ways, I think, only 51% of Protestants think that there is intelligent life out there. 40% of white evangelicals.
Really? Okay.
I think, my guess is that in part it's because one of the joys of being a sort of more fundamentalist Christian in this world is that we get to be special. We are God's special creation.
Well, it gets really complicated if there's other planets with intelligent life on them, right? With civilizations that, probably have their God.
What if they're even better than ours? Then what? What if we're not the specialist? What if we're not God's real good boy?
Yeah.
Then that would be very sad.
Yeah.
Now, mind you, 2/3 of Catholics are on board with alien life. Mainline Protestants, about half.
Okay.
Mainline Protestants are also at about 2/3. Black Protestants, about 55%. So overall Christians in the U.S. about 57%.
Okay.
Now here's an interesting thing. This came out because this report was released because the Office of National Intelligence released their report saying that talked about a whole bunch of different, quote, unidentified aerial phenomena.
Oh, okay. That's a different issue.
And you are correct to point it out. Because once you start asking about UFOs, the numbers get all flipped and squirrely.
Oh.
Which is interesting.
Really?
So if you ask about UFOs and what they mean, like do the UFOs mean intelligent life from other planets? Catholics go up. 61% say that they do. And then, but if you ask atheists, only 31%.
Oh wow, yeah.
Believe, which is in line with white evangelicals who 35% think that UFOs mean intelligent life from other planets.
Interesting. Huh.
Which makes sense because guess what, kids? While there's probably, while probability probably suggests that there's intelligent life somewhere else in the world, in the universe.
Yeah.
The probability of them getting to us,
oh my God,
is almost nil.
Yeah. And the question is, why are they only appearing to people with bad cameras?
Right. And what are they doing here? And just it's like there's almost no chance. Like
and they have this ethos of not going to, it's never show me to your leader, right?
No, it's like, all right, Bubba, we're going to take you up and probe you.
Yeah, why is that the MO?
Right.
It's just improbable.
Also, the thought of a UFO being a weird and sort of inexplicable spy plane from another country is far more like, a drone that can dart around a lot or whatever. That's far more likely than someone has figured out interstellar space travel and has come here to kind of just zip around in the atmosphere and then leave.
Yeah.
Yeah, it just doesn't make any sense.
That's
anyway, I just thought that was interesting. Aliens, they're
out there.
They're not among us. They're
not
out there.
Here. They're out there.
They're out there. All right. Well, if you want to tell us why you think aliens are among us, and don't say Donald Trump, because we have to claim him. As much as we don't want to claim him as one of our own, he definitely is one of the grossest.
I watched Z. They have really good prosthetics that they can cover their lizard faces up with.
Oh my God, you just dated yourself so hard.
Or V, not Z.
Oh, it was V. It was V, the final battle.
Yeah.
We are old
so
men.
Good.
Okay, if you want to write to us, podcast at thinkimatheist.com.
Or call and leave us a voicemail message. The telephone number is 424-666-8442. Stick around. We have correspondence coming right up.
Yoo-hoo! Oh, Frank.
Dan.
Listen, Kenneth Copeland is 4,011 years old. He's a very old man.
Yeah, speaking of lizard people.
He appeared on Victory Live, I don't know if that's the name of the show or if that's just the bug up in the corner of the video.
Okay.
What I'm seeing, the video that I see for the clip that we're about to play, I have to paint this picture for you.
Okay.
It looks like the Lawrence Welk show from the 60s or 70s.
Okay.
There is a gauzy lavender curtain as the background, sort of waving, just rippled behind the two people on stage. There's an older couple. I don't know if they're a couple. There's two people probably in their, I'm going to say, 60s to 70s on stage, a man and a woman. Neither of them are Kenneth Copeland. Okay. But we're going to be hearing from Kenneth Copeland. Apparently he was on the phone, and the man is holding his phone up to the microphone that he is holding.
Okay.
And that's how we're getting the message.
So what you're prepping us for is the audio is not great.
Audio is not going to be very good. Kenneth is taking some breaths as he's pausing dramatically, but what he's talking about, just so you know what he's getting himself into, is the COVID virus.
Oh boy.
So please feel free to be confused when he starts by talking about a blanket of blood, and we'll just dive in from there.
Okay.
And this morning as we prayed, just suddenly I saw a blanket of blood. It rippled like it had like a slight breeze on it. And as I watched it, and I watched this blanket of blood, it was everywhere, particularly over the United States and over our partners everywhere. And then a golden layer, just so gold, it was hard it just this golden aura and cloud. The golden cloud right on top of the blood, and then I realized that it came up out of the blood, and just stunningly beautiful. And then angels began to crisscross over the top of all of that, and these golden rainbows came up out of that. And I saw all of the healing of lungs, and then the scriptures this morning as they came out of that song, and then the lungs and breathing God down into our lungs, and people rising up. And I knew in my spirit, and I said it out loud with my mouth, our breakthrough has come, and glory to God, the destruction, the final takedown of this synthetic virus that has been made by men as a weapon has fallen. It's destroyed.
It's destroyed. Mission accomplished.
All you needed was a blanket of blood and some gold clouds, and
definitely,
gold rainbows, and
what he didn't see was any vision of a shot going into anybody's arm. But who needs a shot when you have a golden rainbow? Which, by the way, Kenneth, that is not how rainbows work, my friend. They are not golden. That's you missed the whole point of a rainbow.
I don't know. I can imagine a golden rainbow.
I
can see it.
I feel like he's just trying to get away from the gay thing. I think the gays have ruined rainbows for him. He's trying to make them golden.
Golden.
Or maybe McDonald's paid him a little bit of something.
Oh, yeah.
To just sort of just be like, wink, wink.
2 golden rainbows.
There you go.
Yeah.
What is with, we two little Mormon boys, I don't think, I've never understood the obsession with blood that the evangelicals
I know.
like. We believed
they
in
just
Jesus,
swim around in it.
but they want to be bathed in the blood. I'm bathed in the blood.
Yeah.
I need a blanket of blood.
How does that even work?
How does that work?
Like that's that's
dry?
disgusting.
Is it a dried blanket, blood blanket, or is it like if it's not dried blood, then like how is it holding together? I don't know. Am I wet?
Just squishy, but it doesn't get you wet. It doesn't make you wet with blood.
I feel like if I'm sleeping under a blanket of blood, I'm waking up bloody. That's
it's Jesus's blood. It's magical.
It does have magic gold. So
yeah.
And it's the most beautiful thing. And thank God it has saved us from
horrifying image of blood and gold everywhere. Beautiful. Just beautiful.
Just beautiful.
And saving us from this synthetic virus.
This man-made weapon.
God, people need to stop with that one.
Oh, well, they need I mean, we're just going to have another round of this shit because these people won't do anything.
I know.
I have resigned myself to it. It's never ending.
Just going to get a booster and then you're going to get another booster and they'll change the shot so it covers the new stuff and you'll be mostly protected and it's here to stay.
Blah. All right. Before we all commit suicide from that thought, let's talk. We got some folks right into us, and I appreciate it. MF wrote in to say, because you and I, Frank, we talked at length about the MyPillow guy.
Oh yeah.
What's his name?
Mike Lindell.
Mike Lindell. Thank you, and his glorious mustache.
It's mainly his mustache that's what makes him.
Well, that is him.
Yeah.
It's actually a parasite, an alien parasite that's controlling his motion and his thoughts.
I saw that episode of Star Trek.
Right?
Yeah.
Anyway, MF would like to say, I have to say, I love MyPillow.
Really?
And bought so many, because you and I made fun of the pillow.
Yeah.
Just thought it was ridiculous.
Well, you said that there were like little sharp cubes of...
It's just like cubes of foam. I think that's all it is. Anyway.
It must be he's on to something.
There you go.
Clearly.
I have to say, I love MyPillow, and I bought so many for my house and family and friends. I had no idea what an asshole he was when I bought them, but I sleep better with them.
Oh no!
I feel like I should give them away to people because I don't want anyone to buy another one. Well, give one to me. We'll give it
we'll test it out.
We'll give you a test run and tell you what we think. Send it in. Good Lord,
MyPillow.
Yeah, there you go. If it were the best pillow in the world, I still wouldn't give that man my money.
No.
Somebody else will.
Because, like, seriously, it doesn't have to be the best pillow for you to have a good night's sleep.
Yeah.
Right? Like, you just need a decent pillow. It's actually true about most things in life. You don't need the best.
Yeah.
You just need the thing that works and is adequate. That's good. It's good enough. It's good enough.
That is un-American.
This obsession with the best, the best, the best.
That is downright un-American of you to say that. I need to spend the most to have the best.
It's not even so much about spending the most. It's these people who like, and you know, I've fallen prey to this line of thinking, right? Like you're buying a new TV or whatever, right? Or it's even worse than that. It's literally you are just shopping around for a pillow, right? But it's this universe of like buying half or most of your stuff online.
Yeah.
You have to like read all these reviews and so you get sucked into this thinking of like, it must be the best thing.
Right.
I must own the best toothbrush.
Right? A 4.5-star toothbrush, not on my watch. Where's the 5-star?
No, it's more that like, it's when it's like only 4 stars.
Yeah.
Where you're like, what's wrong with this product?
Why
is this not 4.5?
Something's not right. Yeah. Because you have to have the 4.5 because there's always going to be just the outliers who are like, blah, it didn't clean my cats right and whatever. And then
I just bought a novelty hat on Amazon. And because I don't want to get into it,
'Tis the time.
which is why I called it a novelty hat.
Okay. You bought a novelty hat.
I bought a novelty hat on Amazon.
so that you can go to Novelty Hat Day. It's
you have to have. There are occasions.
for novelty hats. Okay, perfect.
And so I bought the 4-star one, but I was like, but it's what I want.
Yeah.
And it's just a novelty hat. It doesn't have to, like, this is not going to have to hold up to this
The
is
quality.
the best novelty hat ever, right?
Right.
Like this is going to last forever. I can hand it down to my children who will cherish.
Yeah.
the
If
novelty
the
hat.
rivets don't hold up into the generations,
Yeah.
it'll probably be okay for the novelty hat.
Yeah. It's a visor that makes it look like you have a man bun.
Oh my God. I'm so disappointed.
It's so dumb. It's anyway, long story.
There you go. Josh wrote into us. Hi guys, love the show, especially the weekly clip of some religious person saying something crazy. Yeah, we do provide that. It reminds me of growing up as a Southern evangelical and all the wild stuff I heard from my pastors. And then Josh wrote some nice condolences to you, Frank, because Josh and his partner also recently experienced a flood.
Oh,
So
really?
sorry
I'm
about
sorry,
that.
Josh. It's awful.
Josh says, just in case you're not tracking, there was a really interesting ruling out of the federal district court for Utah in the Getty versus the Corporation of the President of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. That is the official entity, the Corporation of the President. That's as Josh points out, that's so many prepositions. About a month ago, this case came out. In it, Laura Gaddy, a former Mormon, sued the church et al. For teaching falsehoods and violations of RICO laws.
Oh, wow.
Citing the First Amendment, the judge dismissed most of her claims, but let her RICO claims stand because it dealt with the church's misrepresentation of that tithing would be used to build a mall.
So RICO, those laws were designed to go after racketeering.
And
right?
conspiracy, yeah, something like that.
Huh.
So there you go. This is not, I don't know how this is, I didn't really look into this, but I don't know how it's connected to the James Huntsman case. That's basically after the same thing. Anyway, Josh says that the case has some interesting analysis for what I do, for what he does as a living, but I thought it might be even more interesting to you guys. Yeah, there you go. It's fascinating stuff. The big thing that I'm hoping for is that one of these cases will force the church to open up their books.
Oh, I know. That's where the glorious.
That's where we want to. That's what we want to
It's gonna
see.
be such an amazing day. The vast, unbelievable holdings that are so embarrassing,
Right.
and the things that they actually own,
Yeah.
I bet would be embarrassing.
Yeah.
You know, like all that stock in Hooters that they never like unloaded. You know,
They're unloading it right now. I promise you, it's been unloaded. Now that these court cases are going through. Speaking of Josh, by the way, he's our first person to thank.
Great.
He gave us a donation over there to the PayPal, one-time donation. And for that, Josh, congratulations. You now have the priesthood. You are a deacon. Peace be upon you. You're amazing.
That's wonderful. And we also have a new deacon over on Patreon.
Do tell.
By the name of Jennifer. Oh, so thank you to you, Jennifer, and to Josh. And if you'd like to join them in support of the show,
And I can't think of a good reason why you wouldn't.
You can just go over to thankgodimatheist.com and click on the support tab.
Yeah.
And that it gives you options.
You'll be able to just glide right through the process. And by the end, you'll have a little less money.
Yeah.
And we'll feel a little appreciated by you.
It's wonderful. And as always, Dan, we have our top donor to thank, our Lord and Savior, Demonium. Woo! Thanks, guys. Stick around. There is more show coming up. Leon.
Hey there.
I want to follow up on this that we kind of talked about at the beginning of the show. This idea that like last week we were talking about the Mormon Church alienating conservatives.
Yeah.
Right. And probably a lot of the older conservatives of Mormondom, with all of their talk about the vaccines and getting vaccinated and wearing masks, because that's just running afoul of like their worldview, and they don't know what to make of the prophet now. There are people calling Russell Nelson a false prophet.
It's madness,
and it's absolutely crazy. And we were just giddy at the prospects of the schiz continuing to present itself, and it's clear that how one group could break off from the church. And then during this week, Jeffrey Holland, top dog at the LDS Church.
Yeah, is he Quorum of the 12?
He's Quorum of the 12. I don't think he's in the first presidency.
No.
He went to BYU, that's Brigham Young University down in Provo, Utah. It's the Mormon Church owned university.
Yeah.
That's actually the Quorum of the 12 and the first presidency. Like these guys serve on the board of directors.
Yeah.
Right. Like this is a tightly controlled and closely held university to the church itself. Like this is a very, very, very important institution.
Well, it is their flagship school.
Mm-hmm.
It is their way of saying to the world, look how educated we are.
Mm-hmm.
Look, they see it as a grand beacon to the world. And boy, Holland hit that hard. Holland, by the way, used to be the president of the university.
Yeah, from like 80 to 89.
Right.
Yeah.
And he, so he's there talking, and he starts off, as Mormons all do with their talks, with an anecdote. You got to start it off with a story that is almost certainly not true, but is presented as absolute truth.
Oh, clearly. And who would?
And he told a story about driving from his home in St. George up to Salt Lake City, and on the way home seeing the Y for BYU, for Young, Brigham Young, the Y up on the mountain, and saying, "Mama, what does the Y mean?" And just having this. Just feeling like that must be the most amazing university in the world if they've got a letter on a mountain.
Seriously,
my God, what could be bigger? That definitely didn't happen.
What a greater indication of scholarship could there possibly be?
Right.
Than the destruction of a side of a mountain.
It 100% never happened. Anyway, that's how he opened it. Here's the thing. We were talking about the alienation of the arch conservatives of the Mormon Church. He then brings up a letter that he received. Sorry, he called it a memo that he received. Then he referred to it as a document. He never called it a letter. It was very clearly a letter. He said, imagine the pain that comes with a memo like this one I recently received. He quotes the letter. The writer says, that some people in the extended community are feeling abandoned and betrayed by BYU. It seems that some professors, at least the vocal ones in the media, are supporting ideas that many of us feel are contradictory to gospel principles, making it appear to be about like any other university our sons and daughters could have attended. Several parents have said they no longer want to send their children here or donate to the school. That last one was the dig they knew would hurt the most unkindest cut of all. They won't donate.
Oh, goodness gracious. Well, any good university is going to be worried about their donors.
And what is the wedge issue? What is the terrifying specter that hangs in the air over Brigham Young University?
It's not even like, okay, say it.
The gays! They're too nice to the gays!
It's that they're too nice.
They are.
It's not that they're doing anything beyond just being nice to gay people.
Let me tell you something. When your complaint, when your giant worry is that BYU is being overly generous with the LGBTQ community, because no, first, no.
Right.
They're not. No, it's not. The fact that like you're allowed to be gay and not stoned on campus,
Right.
Does not equate to acceptance of LGBTQ people.
I don't know. It's pretty nice. It's pretty nice of them.
Pretty generous.
to have hidden all the stones.
Well, I'll tell you this, brother / elder / whatever you're supposed to call Holland. He's not having it. He's not having it. He will not have the author of that memo be turned away. He is saddened by their pain. And in spite of, can I just say, Frank and I have talked about Mormon men weeping.
Oh, yeah.
And that you had an interesting point about it when we were talking earlier, because it's more than just a deep annoyance.
Right.
Talk about like, because he starts off his whole speech with, as many of you know, I cry at the opening of a supermarket,
Okay.
which was his signal that we're going to be hearing that weepy voice a lot in this talk.
Yeah.
And boy, did we ever.
Well, yeah, and we've kind of marveled on the show about how, like, it's the one place where most Mormon kids actually see their father cry, right?
Yeah.
It's at the pulpit.
They don't see
it at home. It's not while watching, some tearjerker movie or with mom, or
at home, dad has 3 emotions,
Right.
which are mildly amused, angry as shit, and sports.
Yeah. Right. Yeah, the family dog dies, nothing, right? Like, but boy, you get up and start talking about the church and your feelings about the church, and they just turn it on, right?
Right.
Well, I read this article that was kind of talking about some other things with these sort of, displays, these religious displays of like faith, like snake handling.
What did they call them? They called
them creds, CRED, right? And I can't remember exactly what it stood for. But it's these public displays that different churches and different religious traditions have. The one that springs to mind is Pentecostals and snake handling.
Right.
Where there's something a little dangerous, or maybe there's something a little humiliating or whatever, right? And I had never thought about the weepiness as being this sort of religious, like, mind control thing, right? Where when you engage in the activity, you're actually like furthering your entrenchment into that community. Right?
Yeah.
And so, like,
credibility enhancing displays.
There you go.
That's what the cred stands for.
Yeah. And so, like, and I had always just thought that it was just this weird cultural thing, blah, 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 blah. I never thought about it in terms of the weepiness actually being a little humiliating.
Yeah.
Right. And so,
and that actually conferring a sense of credibility on the weeper.
Yeah. And in addition to that, it further bonds the person to the belief system.
Well, you know what it is?
What's that?
It's virtue signaling.
Well, yeah, of course it is.
When the right here in the U.S. will never shut up about all the left and their virtue signaling, it can't possibly be that we actually care about the feelings of, Black Lives Mattering or, LGBTQ stuff. It's just that when we say it, we're virtue signaling for the rest of the thing. Who signals virtue more than the religious?
Oh, no kidding. Yeah.
It just doesn't happen. Like, they are everything they do. Like, you move into a house in in Arkansas, and your neighbors will come over, and immediately the first question they'll ask you is, have you found a church yet?
Yeah, exactly.
That's virtue signaling. That's what it really is. And so is crying, Mormon crying. Yeah. Anyway,
back to this thing.
Back to what this dunghole said. He quoted another Mormon apostle, Neil Maxwell, and who said, apparently, quote, "In a way, Latter-day Saint scholars at BYU and elsewhere are a little bit like the builders of the temple in Nauvoo." That was the first Mormon temple.
Yeah.
Just so you guys know, Nauvoo, Illinois. It doesn't matter. Anyway, who worked with a trowel in one hand and a musket in the other. Today, scholars building the temple of learning must also pause on occasion to defend the kingdom, I personally think.
Why did they have to have muskets why did Mormons have to defend themselves over there in not Illinois?
Because persecution, Frank.
Yeah, not like that they were being dicks to everybody.
Not like they weren't threatening the way of life of all of the people around them, destabilizing the whole region.
Right.
Being awful.
Yeah. So don't be like, oh, everybody's after us all the time.
But
you also brought it on yourselves.
Yeah. Anyway,
another digression.
And then he quotes another apostle, Elder Dallin Oaks, who said, "I would like to hear a little more musket fire from this temple of learning."
Oh boy.
Now, as Holland points out, he could have said that in a way that could have applied to a host of topics in various departments, but the one he specifically mentioned was the doctrine of the family and defending marriage as a union between a man and a woman. They want, like, literally the imagery that he chose, the metaphor that he chose was violence against gay people.
Yeah.
Specifically gunfire. Now, I understand that to be a metaphor. I think most listeners understand that to be a metaphor. We live in a country where plenty of people don't get metaphor, and those people own real guns.
And also, it's true. And also, people who are always trying to connect the dots.
Yeah.
Right. The amount of just that kind of thinking of like, well, what now? Yeah, everybody's saying it's metaphor, but I really think that he's being for real.
He can't say it for real.
Like
he can't say that he means it honestly.
Right.
But that's really what he means.
Yeah.
So we should probably go out there and kill us a LGBTQ.
And not for nothing. I mean, it wasn't right after the fact, I don't believe, timing-wise. But that lesbian couple was shot and killed down in southern Utah.
Oh my gosh, I didn't even hear about that.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, some loony bin with a gun. I think it was outside Moab somewhere.
Here's the thing. At some point in his speech, Elder Holland, I'm not going to call him Elder, Holland,
Mr. Holland,
and his opus, he literally said that he has wept about the gay issue and met with them, and he loves them so much, and he's just, you can't imagine, and boy, he got intense about it. You can't imagine the amount of energy and time we've wept over this issue. And it's like, bitch, you know what? You can't imagine what it feels like to literally be in physical danger.
Yeah.
Because some asshole at a podium doesn't know how tone deaf he is.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Yeah. It's really it's shocking that he would choose a violent metaphor.
Yeah.
It's I don't know what he was thinking. But the really the damaging shit just keeps going. Right?
Yeah.
I mean, for the people in the room, the people that the speech was intended for.
And this was a speech specifically to the
faculty
and staff of BYU.
Yeah, and admin types. Yeah. He starts talking about the funding right? He talks about money.
Yeah.
And he talks about minutia, right? He talks about if the maintenance people need a new pickup truck, we approve it.
Yeah, that goes through us.
And so he's sitting there and it's not like we're going to pull your funding. We're going to fire people. Right?
Yeah.
We control the purse strings. We control this institution. And he says in there that he doesn't care if they are the last institution standing up on this issue.
Yeah.
They will be the last.
Yeah.
If it comes to that.
He lionizes the idea of we have to be different. We have to be brave enough to be the holdouts on this thing.
Yeah.
He later says, like, he keeps hitting this musket fire thing.
Yeah.
He didn't just glance off of it. He grabbed it and ran with it. Much later in the speech, he says, musket fire? Yes, we will always need defenders of the faith, but friendly fire is a tragedy. And from time to time, the church, its leaders, and some of our colleagues within the university community have taken such fire on this campus. And sometimes it isn't friendly, wounding students and the parents of students who are confused about what so much recent flag waving and parade holding on this issue means. The thing is, so what he's done now is said, A, we're not bending on the gay thing.
Right.
Don't look to be bending. If you're bending, unbend.
Right.
And B, you are not allowed to criticize this church.
Right.
Do not criticize us. You're firing shots in the, like it's his metaphor. It's his words.
Yeah. Well, and he's gunning for the people, right? Who are not in line. This is their warning.
Yeah.
Right? The next step will be action on this. I mean, the
next step will be all of these guys dying, but like in the meantime,
they're going to do some more damage to that school.
Oh yeah, this guy's only in his 80s.
Yeah.
He's got plenty of time to do some damage. These guys live forever.
Oh golly. Yeah, it's the problem, truly the problem of the gerontocracy.
Yeah.
Right. If you set your organization up in such a way that it's always going to be essentially the oldest person in the organization running the thing, it's always going to be ran with last decade's ideas.